I just want to say a couple of things about the breaking news about people being cancelled financially, as if that's a new thing. And in particular, this now pertains to the free speech union or club or group or whatever they call themselves, matters not, run by Toby Young and a number of others. And firstly, and most importantly, it is absolutely not a pleasurable thing. It is not better when it happens to someone else. There is no satisfaction at all in watching it happen to someone else. As far as I'm concerned, everybody who is vaguely on the side of people trying to open things up is all good. And I support them all the way, even when that hasn't been reciprocated. Number two, this whole financial cancellation thing is of course nothing new at all. My PayPal was taken years ago when Trump tweeted me for the second time. When he tweeted me for the second time, the next day I lost my PayPal. And that's a consequence of my actions of being as vocal as I am in the field that I am, and I had to suck it up. What's the most interesting about all of this is the concept of self-preservation. And that's really what's at the heart of this. It isn't about cancel culture or free speech or someone losing this or that or the other. It's self-preservation. And that's actually what's in play here. Because what happens over time is that when something happens to a gentleman from Luton or me, people don't run towards that or think, well, that shouldn't have happened, even though they know that. They run the other way. They spend time thinking about how they can self-preserve. How can they keep what they have whilst being kind of in the same space? And someone like Toby Young, I know personally, we've talked personally, I know how hard it was when the mob came for him. But yet in order to self-preserve, these individuals distance themselves. You'll have seen the same thing with Alex Belfield's sentencing. All those online free speech bloggers and YouTubers suddenly saying nothing at all, being very quiet indeed. And that's self-preservation at work. And then what happens is there's this sort of notion of free speech that happens. So, GB News has Toby Young on and they talk vociferously about how we need to keep speech free. All the while, those boys both knowing that they would self-preserve at any cost. They would throw others over or under the bus or over the edge of the boat, whichever transport you're on, in order to self-preserve. And on GB News, they're operating in a very strict and rarefied legal framework. You can say this but not this. You can go here but not there. You could do this but not that. And arguably, and I would argue, and many of you who've known me over the decades now, the things that actually need to be said in this country and any other country I go to are not being said at all. There is a whole raft of far more pressing issues in this country than someone losing their PayPal account, but no one will speak of them because they know they will be cancelled instantly. So you could talk about free speech or be a free speech union all you want. We have not had free speech in this country for many decades. It's an illusion and perhaps best a sham. And I think finally the thing I wanted to end on, and the reason I remain endlessly optimistic and endlessly positive, has nothing to do with Toby Young or boys on GB News waving their willies. It has absolutely to do with ordinary people who operate outside of the media, people who do not look to see how many likes or retweets they got or views they got. Those people are already lost because they only care for themselves. The people, and the reason I remain optimistic, if I could say those words, are people like the NHS 100,000. 100,000 plus, there were so many more. Doctors and nurses who were told, we're going to take your jobs. We're going to take the thing that you love. We're going to take the thing that you trained all your life for, spent 8 years in university and college for, gave up days and nights sleep for, worried and cried with patients for. We're going to take it away from you because you won't comply. And those 100,000 plus walked up, not just into the line of fire, they walked right up to the machine guns. 2 days to go. and they were still walking forwards towards the thing that wanted to slay them down. But you know, for once in my recent memory, they didn't try and self-preserve, not at all. They were willing to walk all the way through into the last bullet. And because of that, because they didn't self-preserve, but they actually worked together and they held their line. And I went up and down the UK, standing in town squares, just telling them how much I bloody loved them for doing that and how amazing I thought they were, because I'd never seen anything like it. And with 2 days to go, with them doing their HR meetings, rows at home, husbands, wives, telling them why don't they just comply, they managed to get the government to do an almighty U-turn, because the government saw those people could not be broken. And so really, that's why I'm so positive and optimistic. That's why I'm endlessly upbeat. And that's why I take no pleasure with seeing small boys in the media be punished in the way I was a long time ago. Because the great people and the people who are going to make a stand and help save us aren't in the media at all. They're ordinary men and women who are passionate about the things they love, about their family or their jobs or working hard or wanting their neighbours to be all right. And they're the ones that I stand with. And when we work together, we will not be beaten.